At the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant, slay the competition cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, corner booth.
I see myself. Hey, I feel like I have not officially said this. I've tiptoed around it. Kate, will you marry me?
Do I have to answer now? Or...
No, you have time. You can think about it. You can think about a way to say no without hurting my feelings if you want.
Oh
Lovely.
my God.
I'll send you a letter.
Just don't even.
Right, cool. Thank you. Shit. I'll send you my address later so you can send it to my house.
Yeah, I'm never giving you my address. I don't want you getting that close.
Oh, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, after a ridiculous week where I lost power for no reason, was not able to record a show, started a new job, drove back from Pennsylvania, I somehow made it here, and it's Thursday. It's Corner Booth Pregame. We got some special guests tonight. First off, everyone knows my former co-host and host of the Tailgate and the Quad Pod, which, by the way, returned today, Big Ten preview, Mr. Kevin.
Hello.
And, of course, last but not least, or he probably won't be last because there might be two other guys joining us, Mr. Scotty K from the Craft Brew Sports podcast. They were last night, of course, at 8 o'clock, and also on Friday, I believe, at 6 or 8 o'clock on Tiki Live.
I have no idea.
I think it's
ask Mike that. I forget.
I'm talking to the wrong member.
Yeah, no, the original time slot we had asked for was filled up, and then I never remember because I know there's been some changes. So, wrong person to ask.
Fair enough. And of course, for Scotty, we'll get this joke, but every fucking week.
Fantastic.
I promised it at week one. I actually I like doing the show outside and smoking a cigar, so it's become a thing.
I like it. I'm not. I hope you're not upset. I'm going to be eating my dinner while we do the show because
it's
my
okay.
children.
You're not the first member of the corner booth to eat their dinner in the middle of a show.
I didn't think I would be, but my children decided they were going to, do last minute shenanigans. I walk into the office and I see wet spots on the carpet, and I'm like, what happened here? I spilled water. Where's the water? This isn't water. This is gelatinous goo. I need to talk to mommy. I need to talk to mommy. No, you don't. What spilled and where did you do it? So I was stretching out my gojitsu and it popped. Okay, all right, I can handle that. Where else did you spill it? As I'm walking into the office, the child outs himself. I definitely didn't use the scissors to cut it. I go over to where the scissors are, see that there's gel covering the scissors. It did not clean up. It's real OJ scenario here.
Jesus Christ. If the glove fits.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had just had the conversation last night before my show. Hey, buddy, scissors aren't toys. We're not going to play with the scissors.
Okay, you don't want to end up like Jared.
The very next night, here he is cutting up his squishy toy that's filled with gel. Kids, man, they are.
Being a parent sounds fun.
It is not a lot of the times. But the times it is great. It's really great. But the times it's not, holy God.
Do they?
Casey Anthony,
Do the great times outweigh the rest of the time? Or is it like a 50-50 split?
It just depends on the day. You got to take it day by day. Some days you lay your head on the pillow and you're like, it wasn't so bad today. They were pretty cool. Everything went relatively smoothly. My voice was still intact. I didn't have to scream. And then other nights you're just like, well, those nights end early for them because you finally just get to that breaking point of go to bed. I'm done with you. I don't even want to see you anymore. Good night. Don't talk to me until the sun comes up. So,
I think orphanages need to make a comeback. I feel like there used to be, like, if you read stuff about history or, like, watch anything, it makes it sound like there was an orphanage on every corner. And
yeah, you're right.
Rid of them in America.
Back in
Because-
the gangster days, it seemed
Yeah.
like there was orphans everywhere.
Because Angelina Jolie decided to be trendy to adopt kids from China and Africa and Russia. So that's where all the trendy white people adopt their kids from now.
It's true.
So there aren't orphanages anymore. And it's a shame. It's a dying industry. Millennials killed orphanages.
We've killed everything, according to the people in front of us.
Ironically, the people in front of us killed the planet and the economy.
Mm-hmm.
But the diamond industry.
But they'll still
killed
blame us for it.
Yeah, they'll blame us for it because we brought it up.
Kevin, I hate to point out the elephant in the room, but if it was in charge of millennials not to kill the orphanage industry, if it was up to Heather, you might be in one of those.
Fair. I think Steve probably would have stopped that though. I was an accident. Actually,
Does that count? Does that count?
I mean, I don't think a lack of orphanages stopped her, because I think if she really wanted me gone, she would have just left me at the liquor store one day.
And that's where Kevin's love of booze started.
They gave me Twizzlers. I think they felt
Give
bad.
me Twizzlers.
I think they felt bad because I was there with my mom like 3 days a week.
I mean, there's
See,
nothing wrong with free licorice, though. Like, who gives
right?
a shit why people are handing it to you? It's
Exactly.
like, oh, hey, thanks.
So it's
Yeah.
weird, right? Like everyone's like 3 days a week for the liquor store. It's like I go in the liquor store 3 days a week, but like 2 of those days are because my boy work. One of my best friends works in there, so I go in and say what up and talk to shoot the shit with him. Also, I'm trying to go on a date with one of his coworkers, so I also go in there for that. I never have to buy anything. I go in once a week to buy something.
I was gonna say I don't know if getting a date with like convincing her you're an alcoholic probably not the best way to.
Well,
get
she
a
also
date.
works out with me at my gym, so that's where I know her from first. She then became coworkers with my buddy. Kevin knows
Oh no,
exactly what
I'm just
talking about.
saying if you went in 3 days a week and bought stuff 3 days a week to get a date with her, I don't think that's the
Oh,
move.
I literally walked in yesterday, shot the shit with her, my buddy, my other buddy Josh, who's the assistant manager, for like 10 minutes, and then walked out. So just to come to find my power's out, and EverSource has not given me a fucking response why it's out. Me being rip shit fucking pissed, was about to fucking start throwing shit. Explanation: my power lines that they were installed in the 70s underground were not properly insulated, so my acidic soil burns through them.
America.
Boomers did something bad.
Oh my god.
No, it's your fault, Jared.
Shout out to EverSource. Shout out to the EverSource social media team. I called them a bunch of clowns, and they tweeted me back and asked me, DM us where the problem is. We'll get to it right away. And I literally said, in my personal, and then like, oh, we already have a technician. I was like, I would hope so. One of your board of directors lives on my street.
Yeah, that's why you're
Or
tweeting
upper level management. What? Yeah, no. Like, it's so funny, right? Like during the hurricane, during the pandemic, the really bad one, literally, we were the last street in town to get power or internet back, and she was so she got on one of her boss's cases, I guess, because it's like, one of your higher ups lives on this street, but yet you will not give us back power. But to their credit, the street that we were connected to that has our power grid looked like I hit by an artillery barrage. So like there were like power lines on fire during the storm. So I mean, yeah. But speaking of on fire, the Cleveland Browns quarterback room, if Watson gets suspended, is amazing to me. It's going to be a complete shit show until he comes back, and I love it because it's his fucking karma. So with that in mind, if you guys been living there, Josh Dobbs and Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett. He's always hanging around where a starting quarterback's going down.
Or get in trouble.
Hot
Yeah.
take: if Deshaun gets suspended for the year, the Browns go 10-7, 11-6 with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
Huh.
So
That's an interesting assessment. I don't know. About
it's
I
not
think he
terrible.
got a raw deal in Indy.
He got a raw deal in Miami too.
I mean, I don't
I
disagree with that. I don't know.
I think
it's a tough division for them to be stacking up wins. with
Yes,
Jacoby
I
Brissett.
think the team's good enough around him. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to win you a playoff game.
Hell
But I
no.
think he's not going to make mistakes that lose you games.
And handing the ball off to Nick Chubb, and if they don't trade him, Kareem Hunt or Dearness Johnson, any three of those guys can fall forward for 5-6 yards. And then you just drop it over the top to Njoku or Donovan Peoples-Jones. And, like, it's not a bad offense. It's not a great offense, but honestly, okay, so if I'm being
I just
frank,
don't know if it's enough offense. Like,
well, here's
the Ravens and the Bengals. Like,
I was going to put up something. They could easily be the third place team in this division this year because Kenny Smallhands, and that's what I'm going to run with from now on. Kenny Smallhands, we don't even know he's going to be the starter. For all we fucking know, it could be Mason fucking Rudolph, old helmet smasher himself.
Not good. It's gonna be Mitch.
It's gonna be, yeah. You know what? Kiss and Titties,
Mitch week 1.
they for sure signed him to that deal to start him.
Yeah. I just also with Pittsburgh, yeah, they have a great front seven, but their secondary is still like And what the fuck are they doing at receiver? Is Chase Claypool gonna be that number one guy? Is Deontay Johnson the number one? Are they able to get the ball? Because who knows who the hell is throwing them by week 4? I don't know. It's a double off Kevin's take. The Browns might win like 8 games because they literally just run the ball down your throat and have a great defense. But they're not going to be a playoff team. If anything, they're going to be like that last team who's going to get knocked out in the final week. But I just find it hilarious how they were a Super Bowl team if Deshaun Watson started. Maybe first round exit, second round exit. But
I was going to say they were not a Super Bowl team with Deshaun.
I was just going to say they weren't getting over that.
Were a playoff contender to start, like a legitimate contender, not just a fringe team. But it's karma. They fuck over Baker Mayfield, who's now a Carolina Panther. Which I said this in front of Beth and Matt when we did our show 3 weeks ago when this whole thing started. I said Baker to the Panthers makes them instantly a 4-win better team because he's that much better of a quarterback than Sam Darnold.
I don't know if he does.
Well, he also just gets to hand the ball off to McCaffrey if he stays healthy, or Chubb Hubbard every.
That's the big part. If McCaffrey stays healthy,
he's never had a receiver. Oh, sorry. Go.
This isn't a comment on Baker's abilities. I'm a big Baker guy. But I think that Panthers team is so bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right.
Especially at the skill positions. Like
Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, not a bad receiving core.
Robbie Anderson doesn't want to be there.
They're just not spectacular either.
I say DJ Moore's top 15 receiver if he's 15. Well, I also think like he's also the best receiver he's had because OBJ in Cleveland was kind of just either injured or pissed off. And
but he's got to stay healthy. He's got other issues too. Like
you got to go all the way back to in college when he had CeeDee Lamb as a freshman. He had Charleston Rambo, and he had no, he didn't have Rambo. He had CeeDee Lamb, and he had what's his face.
But none of this matters if McCaffrey doesn't stay healthy. Like he doesn't.
Also, are we forgetting he had Jarvis Landry?
I would say Jarvis Landry's. I'd say DJ Moore at his best over Jarvis Landry.
I wouldn't.
Slightly. I mean,
but I just think because I love DJ Moore's versatility. He can go vertical or he can go into the mid, underneath or over the middle. Where Jarvis Landry's not going to beat you with speed. He's just a technician running routes.
We still haven't really seen it with Moore though over a full season. It's like flashes and then getting hurt. He had
take it from a guy right on his shirt. I had him on my fantasy team last year. Trust me, I know, Scott.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know from fantasy where I'm just like, God, like he just can't have that consistent.
But it's like the same thing with Terry McLaurin towards the end of the season, or when DK didn't get through the ball thrown to him because Russell got pissed at him. It's all on the quarterback. So
yeah, I guess. I mean,
I don't know. It's going to be weird. I think they could finish in. If New Orleans has a couple rough games, they could easily get within a game or two of them. They're going to finish in third because I think Atlanta is going to just eat themselves. Because I don't know. I don't. The NFC South to me makes no sense besides Tom Brady still playing.
So none of it.
That still makes no sense. He's been there for like 2-3 years.
I know. Like here's the thing. Like you look at every team in the NFC South. We talked about this 2 shows ago. It came on a random tangent. Atlanta has a lot of interesting skill guys and a decent defense. They just can't rush the passer. You go to Carolina. Carolina's got some interesting weapons now. Baker, and they've got a decent running back core if McCaffrey stays healthy. Good running back core if McCaffrey stays healthy, and their defense ain't bad either. They're just the head coach is just, I think he's fried. And then you go to New Orleans, everyone's telling me they're going to be a Super Bowl favorite. And I'm like, but Jameis though, like he's got to show me he can get there.
Jameis looked very good before he got hurt last year. And he can see now. I don't think Jameis is a question mark anymore at quarterback for this team.
Well,
I think
Kamara for
Allen is their coach.
Mm-hmm. What did he shoot at Oakland? He went 4-12, right?
Maybe. Yeah, he wasn't a great coach.
Yeah,
but also this is an all like a pre-built team. He's coming into a team that's already been built. They've added pieces. So
you're saying like Larry Coker, 2001 Miami kind of type, not the same talent, but like similar, where it's like the talent's there, just show up and don't fuck it up.
Yeah, pretty much. I that's how I view the Saints team right now. They did lose Armstead. They lost some pieces, but they've added some good receivers. I also think it's hysterical that Atlanta has had two of the top 10 most physically gifted pass catchers in NFL history, probably at this point. Julio Jones and then Kyle Pitts, who's probably going to finish in that top 10 range, and just refuses to throw them the ball in the red zone.
Well, you know what's going to be funny? Watch now that Matt Ryan is now up in Indy, Desmond Ridder or Marcus Mariota, whoever starts for them, is going to like be top 10 in red zone touchdown passes. Because unlike Matt Ryan, they're just going to chuck the ball at their best guy. They also have that guy.
It should have been doing anyway.
Yeah, well, it just shows to Matt Ryan's weirdness.
Like
they also have,
Julio Jones in 2015, 1,871 receiving yards, 136 receptions, 8 touchdowns.
That number sticks out every damn time. I'm like, what the hell?
As a guy who drafted Julio religiously for like 5 years when he was in Atlanta, I would clean up in PPR leagues or like receiving yards were double, but touchdowns, I would get beat. I would have to rely on, because I think I had Hopkins and Julio back to back. I somehow pulled that trade off. I got rid of Devontae Adams. I think it was the year Adams got hurt. I think it was 17. I literally got rid of Adams to get Julio, and I traded, I think, a decent running back. And I ended up doing okay because I had Kamara. I still lost in the second round, which still pissed me the fuck off. But what cracked me up about like Julio, what killed me is like I just watch him throw the ball to fucking Russell Gage or JJ Hendricks or fucking, and who is his number 2 also before the year before Ridley came?
Sanu.
See, I was Mohamed Sanu. I'd watch a Falcons game on Red Zone, and I'd literally just see touchdown, number 12, Mohamed Sanu. I'm like, motherfucker. He wouldn't catch a ball the entire first 3 drives, and then just his first one would be a touchdown. I'm like, what the fuck?
Julio had double-digit touchdowns once in his career in 2012.
That's absurd.
That's insane. That was his second year in the league.
Yes, and it was 10, by the way. It's not like he had 17, 10 is the most he's had in a season.
Like, I think Jay Jets has had 14 or 15 his first 2 years equivalently.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. That motherfucker always saved one of those touchdown games every time he played the Niners. He'd have at least 1 touchdown. I'd be like, this dude doesn't score all year, but he'll get 2 against us.
Oh, no, and Philadelphia. He owned the Eagles.
Oh, my God.
I just remember 19.
Kill me. We didn't even
19.
see Atlanta that often.
Oh, my God.
He was a nightmare.
My favorite Julio moment of all time, besides that like ridiculous catch he made against the Patriots, where like they made no sense how he caught it with the toe tap, was against the Eagles. Game's tied. This is right before old Aguilar gets the dropsies. Eagles are in cover 0. Everyone's going. It's 4th and 1, and I see Julio man on man against Ronald Darby. I'm like, they're gonna do something to Julio. I just called it. Bubble screen. Julio takes it 70 to the house. I'm like, yep, that's the game. Good guy. But speaking of, hey, listen, Scotty, as much as you're 49ers and everything else, man, but hey, you got 2 championships in the last 2 seasons. I think you're doing okay for yourself right now.
Yeah, man.
Congrats to you and your abs, baby.
Yeah, that was fun. Enjoyed the
fucking
ride.
wagon. They were the Vegas leaders in preseason, at the end of the regular season, and they win.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to pull off, but they earned it over the past couple seasons where they've been building towards this. Everybody felt like last year was a super letdown, and it kind of was, but they came back after that disappointment, buried it, and finished the job. So kudos to them.
Yeah, right. So
And the Lightning didn't three-peat, so thank you.
Yeah, even
Thank
better.
Yeah, that was nice to see the Lightning finally lose. Like, I didn't mind when they won. It didn't really bother me, but yeah, it was getting a little ridiculous.
I think at 3, especially after last year, and I think the long-term IR cap circumvention it's a rule. They didn't break a rule. I don't want their coach to call a hastily scheduled press conference to bitch about me saying they cheated when I'm not saying that. But I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that's a rule. So I'm glad they lost.
Oh no, fair enough. I mean, like one of the biggest things was like I was talking to a buddy of mine from high school who was a big Lightning fan, only because he moved to Tampa in college, and that's when they started getting good. When they had like Stamkos just getting into his prime and everything else before they became champions, obviously. But I'm just like, dude, he's got like both Lightning logos tattooed on his forearms. I'm like, bro, it just looks cheesy. And also, it's like with the Lightning, it was like, yeah, it'd be cool for them to win, but at the same time, it's like the Avs haven't won since like the Diamondbacks were good consistently since like George W. was in his first term. Like, fuck yeah, let's go get a chip. Also, like I did win a little bit of money on them winning game. Whatever their their third win of the series was, I won like $6 off of
a whole $6
off of like a one over like a $1 or $2 bet. I mean, like, listen, I had like $1 or $2 left in my DraftKings account. I was like, oh fuck, I put on the Avs.
Congratulations, big winner.
Thank you for winning me $6. And Scotty, since you are of the Craft Brew Show, I wanted to bring out this beer that was $21 for a 4-pack, Super Soaker by Beer Tree. Fucking amazing, 8.1 IPA.
What kind is it?
It's a double IPA, New England style IPA. It's from Park City, New York. Johnson City, New York.
Please.
Ingredients, good sir. They don't even say this shit. Oh, wow, they don't even say the hops in this shit. That's really terrible. I'm definitely getting some Mosaic in this, as obviously because that's like one of my favorite hops. In El Dorado, because that's the one that kind of tastes really grainy at the end of it. But I'd have to look it up. It's very good. I had it on vacation. So I was in the Poconos for 4th of July, and so my crackhead ass goes to Beer World, which, by the way,
worth $23 a can or $23 a 4-pack.
No, it was worth about $19 a 4-pack. I think the upcharge because New York's a shithole of a state. It makes sense.
Fair enough. I can co-sign New York being a shithole of a state.
So in New York State, there's one good redeeming quality about New York State is that they have this great chain called Beer World. And I've been to their flagship location, which is the size of your usual mom and pop supermarket, filled to the teeth with craft beer from everywhere in the fucking country. I found the Beta flavors from New Orleans, which, by the way, me and Kev both love a Beta. I didn't even know these flavors existed. And I was in the brewery in New Orleans like 5 years ago. I was finding shit from California, out by you guys in Ohio. I was finding shit from fucking Oregon, Nevada. And so I saw Super Soaker because I heard one of the boys over at Scoreboard Ags bring it up. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'll get this. And I'm ringing myself out. I bought my boy a 30 rack of Miller, 36 rack of Miller, because in New York, you can only get 36 packs, which is just insane to me. I love it. But at the same time, I'm like, why is it $72.84 for this?
Oh, my God.
I also bought a Walder's by Lagunitas, which is, Kevin knows, one of my favorite, way over the top alcohol IPAs. It's 11.7.
I'm just talking about a 36-pack of Miller for
$72.84. No. This was 21. The Lagunitas was 15. And the Miller was 30.
I thought you meant just the Miller.
My
God.
36 pack of this thing 72 makes sense.
If I went up to a register and I'm like, hey, I just want this pack of Miller, like it's $72, like, all right, cool, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, Kevin,
I would open the pack, dump it out on the floor, and then leave.
Kevin, you and me and you and my dad burned through what? A 30 rack of Miller in 2 nights, and we were drinking that sparingly.
Oh, I like Miller, but I'm not paying $72.
I know, like any beer. For me. I look over, I look at the receipt. It says,
not for just 36 of them.
$21.50 for the freaking 4-pack. I'm like, Jesus.
Like, if I paid $72 for a case of Miller, it better have been a 72-pack.
Right?
Then I'd be like,
I think that's an
go.
overcharge.
Touche, but I mean, I'm at least getting a beer per dollar if I'm buying that much Miller Light.
Right.
Good God.
You know what I never got? Why Miller Lite is more expensive is less expensive than Miller High Life, when Miller High Life is considered a cheaper beer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, because it only comes in it's really hard to find in cans. That's why.
Oh, yeah. I guess I don't.
Yeah. Also, Scotty.
Yeah,
So my best was y'all reaction when I said on your show last week that I was drinking a 24% IPA,
Oh yes, yeah. And you said you drank one.
and then one Coors Banquet, and I was just trash. And here's the thing, right? It gets smoother the more it's aged, so it didn't taste nasty. I drank one fresh about a year ago, and it was like really strong, and it was hard for me to put down. This one, I sipped on, I slugged it back. It was like a regular IPA, and I'm like, and then it hit me. I'm sitting on my couch playing Xbox while I got you guys on my side screen, and I'm like, oh fuck. And here's the worst part, though. It hit me as I'm cracking I think I was drinking a double from Trogs. So I'm literally sitting there just drinking that, like, oh shit. And I'm like, well, I cracked, so bottoms up.
Nice.
And I had to split wood 90-degree heat the next day. It was fun.
You know what beer I really want to try? And I'm going to ask you how much you think it is first. It comes with a bottle of beer and a branded glass. It's 330 milliliters. I don't know how many that is in actual units. Like 12 ounces, give or take. Can you guess how much it costs?
It's just the one beer and the glass.
45.
I'm gonna go
Scott,
72.
$60.
Wow.
It is
I lose in the prices right
67.5%.
'cause I won over.
Fair. It is 67.5% alcohol.
Oh my god. Like, see, you end up you all you can do is shots to that. Like, you can't. That's not even like you can't even really. You're not drinking. You're not sipping on that.
That's the kind of thing I would buy. And like the glass is maybe half of it. It's like maybe a 6-ounce glass. That's something I would buy to try and then like have with my friends. I would not have the entire bottle.
yeah. Like I was just gonna say it would not end well. Good God.
You know what? It's so funny now. If I see something, it's like it's almost like a novelty to me now. I see an IPA that's like ridiculously over ABV'd, and I'm like, I have to try it. It's like you with your fucking milkshakes and shit, like your milkshake IPAs and shit that you have on the show half the time, or your summer stouts.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
so
the higher the ABV, the better sometimes.
yeah, it's like
I mean, there's definitely, we've talked about it on the show plenty of times. There's a limit, or there's that line though that you cross where it's like it just tastes like booze, and it's like, okay, all right.
I think high ABV beers, it's similar to like buffalo wings. A lot of places don't care how it tastes. Like buffalo wings, they just want them to be as hot as possible. Some beers just want to put as much alcohol in it as possible and don't care if it tastes good.
Sure.
I mean, my biggest thing is that when I've had beers that are like 70% that taste like just straight fucking whiskey.
Yeah.
But I've had like a 24% beer that tastes like a smooth IPA that's very strong, but still has a very smooth and very enjoyable taste. I think it kind of varies on what the hops are put in, how it's brewed. Like you said, Kevin, you're right, though. Like a lot of these companies are like, oh, it's 12%. Let's just make it taste like straight alcohol and fucking beer piss. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
There's only one double IPA I've had that was 11.7. It's the Two Hearted Ale double. It came out once during the pandemic. They never released it since. I drank a 6-pack of it and basically died. But that's because it was tasting. Kevin, that was a Monopoly night where like Justin, I don't know if you remember this, Justin's Wi-Fi kicked out. I don't know. It was a funny story. All I remember is I had 5 of those and then 2 Two-Hearted Ales on top of the doubles. So I was so drunk I couldn't see straight. And all I remember was it tasted so good I didn't care if I was slamming it back. And that's dangerous with a double. Like usually with doubles or triples, it's like, okay, I know I'm tasting a triple. I gotta pace myself.
Jared, what did you say the highest ABV beer you've had is?
24.
For a second, okay, then you must have said like 7 or 17. I thought you said 70.
That's
I was like,
basically
that doesn't exist.
moonshine.
Moonshine caps out generally at 50, by the way, if anyone's curious. Like, that's the highest I've seen.
Kevin, every time I see a picture of these guys knocking back the cherries from the old smoky cherries, I just think of you and me and Andrew at the vineyard.
Dude, they're so good.
They're so addicting. That's the problem. You put one of those in a shot glass with some vodka or some more moonshine, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna die.
I've just poured a bunch into a bowl and just eaten them like regular cherries.
You sick fuck.
Hey, at least I didn't get the fucking moonshine pickles that company makes.
Bro, I had a friend of mine, she bought them because she loves pickles, and she said it was like, Jared, it tasted like just like somebody dunked pickles in vodka. I'm like dirty martinis on steroids. And I'm like, I don't hate that, honestly. It sounds kind of like interesting.
No.
But then again, I've had,
Hard
it was
pass.
like, wow. Okay, so quick rumor here. So this just popped up from Yahoo. So the Timberwolves called the Nets before they made the Gobert trade about KD because they said, "What? Fuck it, why not? We got guys." The Nets asked for 4 draft picks, Cat and Edwards for KD.
They were smoking heavily, huh?
Oh yes, they were smoking of the heaviest herb because. I'm sorry, D'Angelo Russell, Kevin Durant, and that supporting cast would not win more than a series in the West. Where, I mean, I'm not saying we're in a better spot. I'm saying that us with the Gobert trade, which changes the best the NBA, because NBA free agency, of course, happened when I was traveling. So God forbid I got to talk about it. Shit, I haven't done a podcast in a week. This is scary. This is also, by the way, folks, going to be available on, if you miss any of this, will be available on our podcast stream because I was supposed to post a podcast yesterday, but because of our power situation, obviously. But I would not take the trade. If it wasn't for Anthony Edwards' ceiling and Cat's ceiling moving to power forward, I wouldn't take the deal.
That's not a terrible ask.
Dropping 2 draft picks, I would have considered.
Nope, that is they should have added draft picks.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No,
I know it would have been a dumb deal to accept, but for the organization that traded Kevin Garnett for a bucket of basketballs, it's not crazy to ask that. They might just
that furthers both of our points. Strangely enough, it's like 1, they're fucking nuts, so you know they're gonna go for it anyway. 2, I let my cigar out. 3, I don't. I look at the Timberwolves and I'm like, you know, like, yeah, it's gonna be weird. Like everyone's like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Wouldn't they want to keep Cat in that scenario?
Yeah, their whole thing. The whole thing is they got pissed. They got rid of Beverly because Beverly served his purpose. He got Cat to man the fuck. He got at least Edwards to man the fuck up. We don't know about Cat yet, but we got Gobert to move to center, which moves Cat to power forward, which now we see a fucking shooting guard. Because now we just traded Pat Bev. So, but yeah, no, honestly, like I wouldn't take that trade. But anyway, NBA free agency. Obviously, we talk KD obviously first. Can we talk about that like 36, 72 hour period for the Nets? Pray for Nets fans, okay? Because we talked about it a little bit last Thursday, obviously before I left for vacation. But now, like, it's still a week later. I hear people saying, "Oh, they're not going to trade KD." I think KD's gone. What do you guys think?
100% gone.
Oh, he's 100% gone.
It's just a matter of time.
Kevin?
I don't think the Nets should trade KD or Kyrie.
It's not whether or not they should. It's they're going to have to. Like
if they sit out, that contract doesn't count. Right? And KD's there for 4 more years.
I don't know, but you know how it is. They've already dealt with the disgruntled nonsense. Like it becomes not worth it, right? Like if a guy doesn't really want to be there, what's the point in forcing him?
A big problem.
What?
I think it's the one sport where it becomes like the biggest problem is basketball, where like
right.
a guy doesn't want to play there.
Yeah, if a guy doesn't want to be there, it tanks your whole team. Like especially a guy like Kevin Durant.
If they didn't give up all their draft picks, I would say trade Kyrie. It's fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's there for a year. Just keep KD. Just ruin his career. Make him sit for 4 years because he refuses to play.
Jesus, that's just brutal. My biggest thing when I was looking at this whole like trade and everything else is that if all this happens, right, the Nets are gonna have a ton of assets, but it's gonna be Ben Simmons and some role players for probably a year or two, unless they get like a good return from one of these teams. Apparently, the Nets don't want DeAndre Ayton, and that's who the Suns are offering, obviously, because he's a restricted free agent, I believe. Like for a sign and trade. And I'm looking at, we're not going to get this solved until almost August, I believe. I think it's good because, like, apparently the Gobert trade with Minnesota started happening the second Minnesota got knocked out of the playoffs because they had no rim protector to stop John Morant, and it drove Chris Finch and Minnesota management fucking insane because they're like, wait, Cat is in foul trouble 2 minutes in the game, and now it's just Ant and D'Lo trying to score points. Like, let's get a guy who's going to stop him at the rim efficiently. So that apparently started end of April. With this KD trade, if it's just coming out now, we might not get an answer till like Labor Day.
I feel like also part of the issue though is Utah was trying to decide if they're trading Mitchell or Gobert because Mitchell was pissed when Quinn Snyder retired. He's like, I signed my contract here to play for him.
And then they also traded Royce O'Neal, who's like, I guess is one of his best friends. And they traded the other guy who was like really close with him too. So I don't know what the fuck Utah's doing. I'm really confused what they're doing. I mean, yeah, they get Pat Bev and a bunch of scrubs, but like, and Malik Beasley, but hey, Larsa Pippen's got to go to Utah now. I love that meme. The fact that she's dating a 6-man now. What up, Scotty?
I hate Scottie Pippen Jr., so I'm fine with all these jokes.
Fair enough. Who is he? He's on the Lakers roster, right? He's on like Lakers practice squad or whatever.
Yeah, he's in their summer league right now.
Oh boy, I saw like I completely forgot. I forgot the NBA season's so weird to me because the finals just ended like a month ago. Oh, it's summer league, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a thing. We traded our first round pick, and also fuck Walter Kessler. I'm so happy we fucking traded him.
Also, I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyone who played in the finals isn't playing in summer league. Yeah. So,
oh my god. And, listen, I'm gonna say one thing only about my Timberwolves. Yeah, we lost a lot of depth, but I really love the Gobert trade only because, like I said before, now it gives us a rim protector because Cat can't play defense inside of 3 feet or outside of 20 feet. That little in between is where he's great at. So, thumbs up. I wish we didn't give up as many assets, but whatever. It's whatever got the trade through. Whew. Any comments on that one?
Yeah, this trade's gonna bite them in the ass.
What trade hasn't bit us in the ass, Kevin? One's gonna go right eventually.
The NBA right now, the teams that have depth are the teams that are winning.
Yeah, true. We only
for
played
the
6
most
guys
part.
the entire. We only put we played a lot of guys that play. I don't know.
I don't think this changes much for the Timberwolves. It's like
I think it gives us more rim protectors, but now we're
no, I know, but it doesn't increase their amount of wins in the.
They're
playoffs.
a 6. They're a 6. They're a 5-6 seed at best now.
Yeah, I mean this was a net loss of nothing. Like it just they're running in place with this trade. I don't really understand it, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I mean, it doesn't make them better. Like, it doesn't make them championship contenders, and that's the whole point, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, also shout out to Kevin's team for didn't you guys just swipe Malcolm Brogdon?
Yes, and he's coming off the bench.
Such a Boston Celtics move.
Marcus Smart is our starting point guard going into next year. Look, I like Smart. I love Smart. Defensive player of the year. He's not a point guard.
No, he's not. Maybe in a pinch, not as your starter for a championship caliber team. Like,
depending on the lineup, if you want to roll him out at point guard a little bit,
right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can,
game, whatever. Yeah,
you can slot him in there. He's just not your starter at point guard.
And it also doesn't matter defensively. Like, if you want him to be matched up against the point guard when he's on defense, Okay,
You can do
just tell
that.
Malcolm Brogdon to cover the shooting guard instead.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what they're doing. But also, I wrote this team off in like January, so
True.
maybe Brad Stevens and Ime know what they're doing a little bit more than I do.
Also fair. One thing, Kevin, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk more about this college football realignment shit. I know you did a Big Ten preview yesterday, but apparently now Phil Knight wants Oregon to join the SEC or the Big 12, apparently, or Big 10.
Yeah, Nike's thing with Nike, how much control Nike and Phil Knight have over Oregon is so stupid, by the way. But yeah, so the Big 12 or the Big 10 is looking to add Oregon and Washington if Notre Dame says no. I don't know why Notre Dame would go there, and I'm looking for what all the teams that the Big 12 is looking to add. I think it's like
Arizona State, Arizona,
Colorado,
Utah,
Oregon and Washington.
The NCAA's got to be looking at us like, fuck, we lost complete control.
Yeah, it's because they gave too much money to TVs, to like ESPN, CBS. They have too much control now over what college football is. I hate it. And the SEC is looking to potentially add Virginia, Virginia Tech, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, and a bunch of other ACC schools.
I mean, getting to Kevin, maybe us going to see a Miami Alabama game, even though it's gonna be a blood every fucking year for you guys kicking our ass. It'd still be cool to be an SEC team, but we wouldn't be Miami be a 500 team for 5 years until they caught recruiting wise.
I think depending on the schedule, 500 would be generous.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for like right off the rip.
Right after I'm talking like down the road, like when we're in our 30s, they might actually be a competitive team. But like I'm talking like now, Cristobal still got some time to build in that roster. They did it. No. They got like I think their 10th 4-star recruit of this class coming up. So I'm like, all right, cool. Keep recruiting, boys.
Yeah, I just hate this though. I feel like a lot of people have this take. It's not an original take. A lot of what college football is how regional it is.
Yeah.
Like the Patriots in Miami are kind of rivals based on history in the NFL. Boston College is never going to be a rival of the U. Like they had a couple games that were close and they hated each other in the 80s, but they're never going to be considered a rival because of the distance.
I do love now that they play them every year because of this new pod schedule. So next year I get to go see Miami Boston College in Boston, and I'm actually kind of hyped about it.
Like stuff like that was a bad example. I'll be honest, because there is history there. But in hindsight, now that I think about it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say I do get what you're saying when the
point stands. The argument was the example was terrible.
It's like in baseball when they force the rivalries on the teams that don't have natural ones and it's like, oh, we've got the Yankees and the Mets and the Chicago teams playing each other and the Bay Area teams, and those all make sense.
But and Arizona and Detroit guys, yeah.
Right. They're like, there's just some teams that just don't even have that natural rivalry because there's not even anything close. Like with the Braves and the Red Sox, they tried to make that the rival
because they were the Boston Braves,
right? Yeah, they tried to manufacture that shit. It's just like that doesn't work. Like we're never going to be rivals with the Red Sox. It's just going to be highly competitive games because it's two franchises that traditionally play well. But other than that, like nobody hates the Red Sox. Nobody's like, "Grr, we got that rivalry series coming up soon." It's like. It's all I give a shit about is beating the fuck out of the Mets and Phillies. Like that, those are my rivals, and that's because of division.
What cracks me up? Go, Kev.
And I'm okay with like Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. Regionally, it makes some sense. You have Texas A&M still now in the SEC. They were rivals. Missouri, Arkansas were in the same conference as Texas and Oklahoma a while ago. You have Alabama playing Oklahoma in the college football playoffs a lot. You have the 2009 national championship. Small changes like that stay within their region, kind of, I'm fine with. Right. It's the fact that we have fucking USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten. I'm sorry.
Can't wait till they match up against Rutgers. Come on, that's a big.
You know what's really scary? I cannot wait for a Lincoln Riley USC team to walk into like Ames, Iowa, and get the shit piss kicked out of them. Yeah, they may score some points, but Iowa plays so physical. These USC kids are like, oh fuck, we actually have to stop a running game. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Because the Pac-12 is basically a passing league.
And they don't even do that well.
Right? The Pac-12. So, like last year, Kevin, you had a legitimate point preseason. Yeah, but also the ACC like ate itself this year. Like it was literally just a giant clusterfuck of everyone trying to kill each other.
It was great though. That's so fun.
Oh, it was so entertaining. And somebody said to me, "Oh, the Pac-12 is the third best conference in college football." I'm like, "What are you watching? Pac-12 games are unwatchable sometimes. They're
4
ugly."
years ago, I would have said the Pac-12 is the fourth best. I would have said ACC is the worst.
Yeah, no, you're right. But now that Miami's caught up, so is North Carolina State. Clemson's
Wake
regressed.
Forest is competitive.
Wake Forest is good, which is like, oh my god! Like last time I heard Wake Forest, Chris Paul was playing point guard for them. So like, what it blows my mind is college football has become such it's a regionalized sport, but they're trying to make it unregionalized, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like I'm literally wearing a fucking Miami hat right now because it's my second favorite sports team. And what, besides my Eagles, obviously, but what cracks me up is that like, oh my god, Miami might join the SEC. That's cool, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, guys, like the whole point of the conference is, okay, I get 4. If there was 4 conferences only, amazing, perfect. That's totally okay because now you have the 4 best teams make the conference, make the whatever. Because there's 4 spots to fucking playoff. You really want to get that fucking technical about it. Is it ideal? No, I would have liked to like the Power 5 plus the fucking the other where the fuck Cincinnati was from.
Group of 5.
Group of 5, yeah. So that worked, but now it's just becoming this crazy shit. I also hope Texas and I really hope Texas plays 2 years in the SEC and gets fucking railroaded every year so they go back to the Big 12 with their tail between their legs.
They're not going to do well. But
so
also,
they're going to turn to Vandy?
Vandy at least is okay at basketball. Sometimes is really good at baseball, and they bring up the conference GPA so they can stay.
There you
go.
But I already know how the Big Ten scheduling is going to go when UCLA and USC join. It's going to go like some shit tier school. Rutgers is going to go to USC, then go to Columbus, then play a game at home, then go to UCLA, and then go to Michigan State. Meanwhile, Ohio State every year is going to go either you're playing USC 1 week, UCLA the next, then you have a home game, or they're going, all right, you're going to play USC, you're going to have your bye week, then you're going to go to UCLA.
It was so funny. Like for years we talked about this. Yes, I got to give the SEC credit, Kevin, because the SEC, as much as like Alabama's been their darling and been like their go-to like juggernaut, they don't really play favorites as obviously as the Big 10 and the ACC do. The ACC has been kissing North Carolina and more and more Clemson's ass forever. But then you go to the Big 10, which is even worse. And we saw them change a fucking rule. And we saw JD blow a gasket every time he brought it up in the show last year. Because basically, Ohio State shouldn't even made the fucking college football playoff in 2020 because they basically broke the rules. They only played like six games and then got railroaded by Alabama, which was karma. But it's just the way that the Big Ten just caters to Ohio State and to Michigan is just hysterical to me when there's like 4 other competitive teams there that they fuck over every year.
I don't know if the Big Ten caters to Michigan. I think
kiss Ohio. I know they kiss Ohio State's ass though.
It's Ohio State. That's what they do. And the SEC probably does play favorites behind the scenes a bit, but it's for Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU. The programs
I've been throwing Auburn as a secondary favorite.
Yeah, I don't know if Auburn gets favorites played. I don't think they're good enough at anything.
You know what? I can't even make a joke about War Eagle Roll Tide because you're kind of right because Auburn's been butt cheeks since 2011.
It's funny.
The Nick Marshall year, sorry.
Auburn likes calling themselves an everything school because Alabama did that. So they're like, no, we're an everything school. We made the Final Four. We made Omaha. They were like, we're a good football school. No, you're not. But also, do you know, since like 2015, what sports Auburn has a national championship in?
I think it's like women. No, zero, right? Or it's like women's curling or some shit. It's something ridiculous.
Equestrian.
Yes,
That's
it's
not
even
an
better.
NCAA sport.
It's barely even a sport in any sport in any league.
Now, and look, they're good at equestrian. Don't get me wrong, but
Wow, rich white kids riding horses. Congratulations.
it's not rich white kids riding horses.
It's
It's kids who
inbred.
grew up on farms riding horses.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
they're
Inbred
so
white
in
kids
tune
riding
with their-
horses.
They're so in tune with their horses because they were probably inside of them before the meet.
Oh my god. This show is really, I forget every time I bring Kevin on, there's always a chance there's some incest joke or something fucking ridiculous, and here it is. Also, shout out to Mike. I understand why Mike's not here, but fucking Mookie just going, Scott and Mike are showing up, possibly. I'm like, yeah, you want an invite? He goes, maybe. And I sent him it. Mookie gone.
I mean, are you shocked?
No, because for 3 weeks straight, he texted me, yo, I want to come on. Okay. Send him the link. Yo, I'm too drunk. Okay, whatever. Yo, I'm at a rehearsal dinner. I'll do it mobily. I'm like, the fuck are you doing, Mookie?
Do it mobily.
Do it mobily
God,
at a
he's
rehearsal
old.
dinner.
Scott, I make fun of you and Mike for being old. Mookie's actually, anyone who says I'll do it mobily, old. Just say I'll do it on my phone. But also, don't do that at a rehearsal dinner. Problem solved.
Or at least fucking tell me at a rehearsal dinner.
Also, I don't get, I'm too drunk. Has he never seen our intro?
That makes it the best because of COVID. You and me were trashed every episode.
Yeah. Like, does he not know what this show's about?
I mean, we've cleaned up our act, man. Like now, me
It's
and you. both
Mookie. He doesn't remember 5 minutes ago.
Isn't he like an engineer or some shit?
No.
What does he
No,
do?
he's in some type of business, but not
That track.
not an engineer.
Nah, the fact he's in business tracks because business. I have friends who are in business, like that definition. They fucking go on Thursdays and get absolutely fucking shit faced. I'm like,
I have a degree from a business college.
I have a journalism degree. I'm supposed to be a hard leaning liberal who is just a freaking like stick in the mud. I am the farthest thing from either of those.
That has nothing to do with your point, though, about people with business degrees.
Well, it kind of is because it doesn't fucking track, man.
My degree is from the Culver House College of Communication, or Culver House College of Business,
Mine is
or
from
College of Commerce. That's it.
Fuck, I can't remember the School of Arts and Sciences from Southern. Kevin, remember how we had that argument where I had a Bachelor's of Sciences degree and you were so pissed off that it actually says my diploma, Bachelor's of Sciences? That was
Yeah,
a whole
journalism's
point.
should not be a
I
bachelor's of
understand
science.
that. It's just what I got. I don't fucking care.
I'm convinced Southern's a fake school because that's not a sciences degree.
I know. Southern's a piece of shit school. I honestly, the more and more I get older, the more I regret not sending my app into LSU because I would have gotten in by flying colors. But then this would have been a Tigers hat, and it would have been worse. So I would have been a horrible human being. I may have never come back from Louisiana because I'd fit in so well down there.
Sorry, I'm getting harassing phone calls from a telemarketer, and I'm like,
Oh, I thought it was your wife telling you how to get off.
No, it's like leave. No, it's this telemarketer is worse. He's like,
bro, I had my first telemarketer.
He's called like 5 times in a row now, and I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I don't. I'm sorry I let you in and scheduled this thing. I didn't really mean it. I panicked when you started talking, and now just take the hint, man.
Take the hint.
I'm not answering your phone
I used to be
calls.
one of those cold call guys, man. I was 22 years old. They're like, you gotta make X amount of cold calls or you don't get to go home. And I'm like, wait, what? And I called the same dude 16 times because I knew he wouldn't pick up.
Oh shit.
Oh my god, no, but like it's so funny. Like, so my new job, I'm at the front desk. I do customer service, sales, marketing, all that crazy stuff for my job. I'm on day 3. I've only been on the phones and like the computers and everything else for 3 days. I literally got a call from a telemarketer today after dealing with customers who were like, It's everything. I deal with disgruntled housewives not happy with their contractor, to who want like a different material. I deal with contractors in a rush on speakerphone on the highway with their window down. Try hearing that shit on speaker. It's a fucking bitch. And then I got my first telemarketer today. I heard it. I'm literally in the middle of putting a customer's order in, and I click. And my sales manager looks at me and goes, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "Telemarketer." He goes, "How'd you know?" I'm like, "I heard the beep in the background." And he goes, "All right." I'm like, they call it a business. That's what cracks me up. But I don't know. It's just fucking crazy. College football.
I get emails about like services similar to what I've looked into for work, lead generation tools and stuff like that. And I'll get random emails from companies like, "Hey, you wanna schedule a call to talk about this?" No, I don't. I have not.
They have those websites like Cookied. So basically, if your name pops up, those generated leads that people pay fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars for every year.
Yeah, no, I've looked into stuff like that, and it makes sense. But they will call me after I don't respond to their first 3 emails.
Oh no, that's why I'm terrified, because for work this week, my biggest project this week in my first and second week is taking over all of social media for my company, and start to helping out, like posting pictures of all of our rock and bluestone products and everything else, and our mulch and topsoil and everything we have on sale from our father company, Delgado Stone, and everything else. And the biggest problem is that I was looking into like what Hootsuite runs, what all these other like management calendar places run, because I know I use this for Belly Up when I used to be the assistant podcast director before I moved over to pod development. And I used a couple other ones while I was at New York Life. And I'm like, oh, I know all this shit. And now I realize they all jacked their prices up by like 80% since 2019. Even though, I'm sorry, media companies don't have a right to jack up prices besides inflation, because you're not affected by the pandemic. I'm sorry, it's all technical. But at the end of the day, I ended up saying, fuck it. Between me and the guy who's helping me with it, who's one of my best friends, the two of us can figure out the fucking social media during the day. I literally had 17 sales in the first hour this morning at 7 a.m. when the contractor showed up. I didn't have a single customer until about 10:30. So basically, I had like hours to do purchase orders, receipts, all other shit. I literally was sitting there on my computer, like typing away, carving a rock into an arrowhead that I pulled out of the quarry this morning, and just working because it was so fucking boring. But enough of my fucking work, because nobody fucking cares. Yeah, but this whole college football realignment thing's fucking bullshit. But do you guys see it actually hurting college football down the road, or is it going to be just like, whatever, who fucking cares?
No,
we'll take it away.
It will be
fine.
It will be a zero net change in 10 years. The people in the country who care about college football are going to still watch. They're going to have their kids watch. Their kids are going to be fans. The South's still going to watch college football. The Midwest is still going to watch football.
Right. Football addicts are going to watch football.
Maybe parts of the West Coast still, even though they're probably the second least likely region to watch it at this point. They're going to watch it. They're not going to get the Northeast by doing this, which is, I think, a big part of why they want to do it, because it's so populated. The TV companies want the Northeast market badly for college football. They're never going to get it.
There's no good teams up there.
No,
never.
Until the Cum Bowl of UConn versus UMass becomes respectable. Until Boston College has another Doug Flutie-like guy come in and win the Heisman, which is never going to happen. Until Syracuse starts playing competently.
It goes back to its Donovan McNabb, Dwight Freeney, Marvin Harrison days. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and even then, they're not going to get that market. The NFL will always beat college football in the Northeast.
Okay, the Northeast. Let's review here. The Northeast. So, where do you draw the line to the Northeast? I draw it at like just below Philadelphia. I don't go all the way down to Maryland.
Yeah, no, it's
Philly to Buffalo. It's Philly to Buffalo. That's where I run it.
A little bit further west in New York. Like down in west, because New York or Buffalo's like right up by Canada, but down in west. So basically, New York, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a little different because they have Pitt, who's decent sometimes.
Yeah,
but really the Steelers still reign supreme there. And then that part of Pennsylvania that I don't know where Pittsburgh is in that state, but
Pittsburgh is southwest-ish central.
So basically, like the part of Pennsylvania that goes along New York, probably about 50 miles in, cuts down into Pittsburgh and then goes up to Philly. And then like that's the Northeast really in terms of like
Yeah.
the TV market in my mind.
And then you have New England, the New York teams. It's just you're not like okay. So I just named four out of the 10 most passionate fan bases with New England, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia, right there.
Oh, and Delaware. Delaware is part of the Northeast.
Well, Delaware is also like Philadelphia Eagles country. So I had to do a couple jobs in Delaware. I was moving. It's Eagles gear everywhere.
Yeah, Delaware also has like 5 people total. So
surprisingly, Delaware's a gorgeous state. It's just a shithole
because no one lives there.
I know it's
so they haven't destroyed the state's natural beauty yet.
You know, it's weird. So you know how backwards Delaware is? I think I've told the story before, not in the show though. I'm literally doing a delivery to the South Shore of Delaware.
Hey guys, I gotta run.
Bye, Scotty.
You hold on a second before I go. Did you just almost call me Mookie after this motherfucker shot you down weeks ago?
Because I just texted him. That's why
you talked all that
him.
shit about it. And how dare you, sir?
Scotty, you're still Scotty. I'm sorry. You're still my favorite at Craft Brew. I'm sorry.
As it should be.
Quick way to tell the difference: Mookie, Scott, Mookie, Scott.
On that note. Good night, fellas. Have fun. I'll catch up with you next time.
Thank your wife for letting you come on, man. I appreciate that.
Peace.
Bye, Scott. I love you.
Oh, my God. He's the best, man. Shout out to Scotty Kaiser. You can check him out, Craft Brew Sports, every Wednesday, 8 on their YouTube channel, and every Friday, 8 on Tiki Live on the Belly Up Sports channel via your Apple TV or your Roku. Oh, buddy, it's like the old days, man.
I know.
Dude, I love that fucking shirt, by the way.
Thank you. It's
okay. By the way, Labor
Day.
Nice. Labor Day at the Vineyard. By the way, just keep that in your mind.
Labor Day
weekend. I got it off. I still know how. I just got hired, and they still gave me Labor Day. And they gave me the whole week off. So I'm like, fuck.
Dude, when are you going down? And when are you coming back?
I am going out that Tuesday, and I'm coming back Labor Day night.
Ah, damn. I didn't know if you're talking about like Labor Day week, so like that Monday for Labor Day and then the 4 days, because I might take that week off because I'm working like 2 days that week.
Well, listen, if you want to take that week, the week before Labor Day off, and then I'll just pick you up on the way again, like last time, because I'm coming up later. My parents are going out there the week before because they're going to some concert shit because my parents are fucking hippies. But yeah, no, we'll talk about this off camera, obviously. But also, by the way, I'm drinking a Voodoo Ranger Experimental IPA. Tastes like shit out of the can. Amazing in a glass. Surprising.
Good to know.
Oh, yeah. So I was down in... So, by the way, the Poconos, right? You're going to love this. I got food poisoning my first night at the Poconos.
Rip.
Because my drunk ass ordered a crab cake from a very shitty-looking dive bar / tourist trap restaurant that these idiots who are friends with my boy, Chris, picked. And I'm sitting there like, I said the waitress, I'm like, excuse me, miss, what's better, the burger or the crab cake? She goes, never heard nothing bad about the crab cake. I'm like, all right, we're doing the crab cake. Didn't realize the crab cake had a lot of nasty stuff. It's going to make my stomach all crazy. Dude, I was in an escape room for 2 hours. I felt like I died. It was a zombie-themed escape room. I felt like a zombie walking around like this. Like, ah.
Did you go tell the woman at the restaurant that you had something bad to tell her about the crab cakes?
No, because I never went back there. We went to an actual real restaurant the next day. Ironically, in the middle of a outlets mall. It was a nationally ranked wing spot in the middle of an outlets mall. I'd never seen anything like it. We had their Jameson garlic buffalo wings, which apparently won like top 3 in Pennsylvania for wings. I'm like, me and my boy Trevor, we killed probably 10 of them. I had their Yingling honey wings because the Yingling brewery is like right there, and I was like, dude, this is great. And I'm like, this is real. This is good fast food. What I had last night was fucking bullshit. This is why people who don't know how to cook should never pick restaurants. Yeah, I will die on that hill. I know how to cook. Kevin knows how to cook. My cousin, I love him to death. I'm not gonna name his name. He can't cook. I'm never letting him pick a restaurant ever in my life.
Yeah, you know what else sucks? When your family loves a restaurant and it's like okay.
Which you want air this mail there, soldier, or you want to lay it dead?
No, because it's just in like my area. So
Have I been to this restaurant? Possibly.
I don't think so.
Okay. No, it's okay. Like, no, picking bad restaurants runs in my family too. Like, there's a restaurant in my grandparents' town that like my uncle is obsessed with, and it tastes like shit. But then again, I'm also the guy who literally I came up with a recipe on the fly, and now it's like my friends are like, "Dude, you're gonna make this next time you come over?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's basically a grilled chicken bake, Cajun style. And to make a Cajun, I did my whole special Cajun sauce. And then I also started chopping up andouille sausage into it with onions and peppers. It's fucking gas. Throw some rice, some pasta. It's fucking great. Either way, who knows? I might start fucking TikToking this shit because I'm actually a decent cook. Anyway, by the way, look out for us. Our friend Frank Michael Smith, founder of Juice Media. By the way, check them out right now. They're actually hiring. So if you don't work for Belly Up Sports and you want a job, go check out my. Listen, I got to throw hello to my boy because Frank's my dog. Chef Roy is coming by the show in a few weeks. If you haven't seen him, he's on TikTok and he's also on Snapchat. Dude declared war basically on the Liver King, so I love it. And also Frank is coming back in August to talk some football because big Pittsburgh Steelers guy, and it's gonna be a fun time. And I'll actually have my crew because I know I know I was talking to Pat the other night. He goes, "Yeah, I want to come back occasionally, but I'm only gonna come back occasionally." And I'm like, that's fine." JD is like on the fence. I'm like, "Listen, you want to come back just for Thursdays to talk football? I'm down for it. You're good." Because honestly, Matt's the best co-host besides Kevin I've ever had. So, because one, he unlike like Kevin, he actually pushes he puts up some content. I have to do something at least behind the scenes to at least keep the show running. So shout out to Matt. He is unfortunately not here tonight because his girlfriend bought them tickets to Thor: Love and Thunder, and he didn't have a say in the matter. So, and also like I'm going to see it tomorrow, so I'm not complaining either.
That is not getting very good reviews.
Really?
Yeah.
From who though? But then again, it's the same people who these critics who fucking said like that Thor the fucking what's it called? That Ragnarok sucked.
That's true. I don't know. I've just seen headlines. I'm like, I'm not reading it. I don't care.
I'm going to see it tomorrow, and he's my favorite superhero, obviously. So I'm obviously gonna go watch it. I'm probably gonna love it regardless. I didn't even think Venom 2 wasn't that bad. It was way overpaced. Like it was like running a marathon on cocaine, but like it was, wasn't terrible. I still haven't seen Maverick yet. I mean, talking Maverick yet. I really need to get on that at some point. I was gonna go watch it my week off when I had when I was between jobs, but I was like, that or sleep in, because I'd go in like a matinee movie, and then I work out, go to a matinee movie, come back, cook, whatever. But oh my god, all right, we got about Kevin. What do you think? 10 minutes from now, we'll do a quarter with what's it called? We'll do the dartboard and head on out of here.
Sure, I can make my lunch for tomorrow anyway.
Fair enough. Brittany Griner, by the way, pleads guilty to charges in Russia. So, this is Brittany Griner pleaded guilty to bringing hashish oil into Russia on Thursday, telling a judge that she had done it inadvertently while asking the court for mercy. One, Russia's a shitbag country. Whatever. Fight me, Russia. Two, yeah, it sucks that Brittany Griner got locked up, but she
didn't get locked up for the drugs.
No, she got locked up because it was American. Whatever.
She got locked up for being a gay black American woman.
3 red flags in Russia.
Yeah, pretty much. 4 actually. I don't think they like women that much in Russia.
There you go. Well, no, gay black American. Yeah, okay, that tracks. It sucks. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Brittany Griner, but she's a badass WNBA player, and hopefully she gets. Apparently, America wants to make a trade for her. So, weirdest trade she's ever been involved in. Probably too soon.
Yeah, a Russian arms dealer.
Yeah, right.
For her,
one of like 3,000 that we probably have in custody.
Yeah, but he's like the biggest. He was, the movie Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Who's an arms dealer? He was called the Russian Lord of War.
That's just insane.
Yeah. I think that's also part of the reason probably they arrested her, so they could try to get that trade through.
Probably back.
They have to throw some picks in that trade, though. Like, come
guaranteed. Hey, we want X amount of boxes of recalled M16s you seized from government raids or AK-47s or whatever. We're running low.
No, just like, we'll give you the Russian Lord of War for Brittany Griner, and you leave the Ukraine.
Well, fair. Then again, it's not the weirdest headline I fucking heard this week. You heard about this congressman from fucking Rhode Island?
Probably.
The one who was like twerking on the beach and told her to vote for her constituents to vote for her.
Is this the one who was a stripper?
Maybe? I don't know. I saw it first from a libertarian like page I follow, and I saw it on somebody retweeted one of my Republican friends tweeted Tucker Carlson. I was like, oh boy. And I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be funny. And then I saw a tweet from I think it was Hannity. No, not Hannity. Rachel Maddow or one of the CNN sources talking about it too. And I was like, I mean, it's definitely a different perspective. We're in a different time where we have a congresswoman twerking upside down on a beach. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, as long as she knows how to fucking run her district, I don't give a shit what she does.
It is also not the former stripper. The former stripper is running for Congress. She's not currently in Congress.
She's got my vote. Don't care what party she's got my vote. Oh my god! Even though Kevin, you look like a strip club promoter right now, so I love it.
What I'm going for.
By the way, love the beard's coming back, kid.
Yeah, I figured it was time. Sorry, Jared. She's running for Congress in Philadelphia.
Democrat or Republican?
I have no idea.
$50 she's a Democrat because that kind of sounds like a Philadelphia thing to do. Also, I don't think Republicans exist in Philadelphia, so.
Yeah, no, she's it actually doesn't say she's running as Democrat, but it says she's a leftist.
Oh. I can do Democrat, can't do leftist.
Yeah, because Democrats don't do anything.
That's true. I mean, then again, most political government officials just fucking suck. Anarchy 2022. Oh my god. Do you see the video, by the way, of Portnoy getting harassed by some lady because he's anti-union? I don't know what city they were in. He was with his girlfriend and his dad.
I don't think yeah, they're on Nantucket.
Yeah, Nantucket. Some girls yelling at him over a fence, and all I see is his girlfriend who's they were just getting yelled at. And like I think I saw the video, and I love at the end his girlfriend, who's by the way your age, literally just yelling, "You're fucking ugly, bitch!" And I'm like, okay, I respect the girl a little more now.
No, that's not what happened in the video.
Well, no, like it was
the girl called Portnoy ugly, and his girlfriend said, "No, he's not."
No, but at the end, she calls her ugly.
Yeah, in response to what she said at first.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay. Also, I'm surprised Portnoy's girlfriend isn't younger, by the way.
Yeah, that kind of seems like a Portnoy move. I mean, listen, man, good for him. As long as he's enjoying himself, fuck it. She's of age easily, and she's. You know,
oh no, I'm not saying I'm surprised she's legal. I'm saying like I'm surprised she's not like 19.
Listen, man, I knowing Portnoy, he'd want a girl he can go out and get a drink with, so it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. All right, so I got to ask you though, seriously, your Alabama Crimson Tide this year, unequivocal. I know you're going to do SEC preview later, obviously, and you're in Tailgate the Quad. By the way, there are like the close. Like everyone talks about how much we love craft beer sports here at Corner Booth. Our brother podcast is Tailgate in the Quad, obviously, because Kev's like a brother to me. Where do you really think Alabama's going to do this year? Realistically, like if you're gun to your forehead, and if you're wrong, it's a 9mm through your slug.
Well, if those are the stakes, they're not winning a game. End it all, baby. No.
Okay, no, but like seriously, like so what do you think? Like 10, 11 wins,
undefeated game, national championship domination.
You think this team's that stacked?
I think the defense is the best we've seen since 2016. I think the offense, losing Jameson Williams and John Mechie sucks. I think they've done a fine job replacing them. Their running game's going to be better. Jahmyr Gibbs is a better running back than Brian Robinson. Bryce Young's got another year of experience. The offensive line is still going to be good. Pete Golding seemed like he learned how to coach a defense last year. Hopefully, Bill O'Brien just doesn't hold back the offense too much.
All right, so while I got you here, I'm going to ask you. So, and is there anybody in the SEC who can challenge Alabama? Obviously, Georgia. I mean, they only lost maybe 3 out of 4 of their big name starters.
No, they lost a lot of guys.
Well, I mean, they're one of their best defensive tackles they still have on the roster, and they only lost one of the edge rushers.
And Kobe Dean. And their corner.
Where'd the corner go?
I forget. I just know they lost their corner.
He went like second or third round too. He wasn't like a high pick.
Yeah, but I think Georgia can, but I'm not sure because I don't think Stetson Bennett can do what he did again.
Stetson Bennett is Matt Saracen. That's what he is. He's Matt Saracen from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Oh no! You know what he is? He's Alex Moran from Blue Mountain State. That's what he is. Goes that get so I know. So one of the interns.
That's underselling Alex Moran.
Well, here's the thing: is like it's not because of the talent. I say like Matt Saracen was a good combination. I think he's a hybrid of both because I was talking to one of our interns, Jim, who actually goes to Georgia. He goes, dude, Stetson Bennett's out partying like 6 days a week. Post-title. He's enjoying himself. He knows he's not going to the pros or he's not going to play in the pros. He's living life right now. He's doing all this crazy shit. And I'm like, Alex Moran. Like, that was Alex Moran for the first 2 seasons of Blue Mountain State. And then they kind of fell off at the back end of season 3. But we'll not talk about that.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't think he was ever that good. I think he was the beneficiary of a historically great defense.
Yes.
I don't think Georgia's going to be playing for the national championship this year. I don't think LSU is still kind of a shit show. I don't think Brian Kelly's going to change that in like 8 months.
All right. I got another one for you. Over under, how long does Brian Kelly last in Baton Rouge?
I'm giving him 2 years. Kiernan's giving him 1.
Wow, Kiernan's. I'll go with you. I think 2 or 3 years. I think he's gonna realize year 1 it's gonna be a shit show. He's gonna make some strides year 2, and then he's gonna get frustrated and just quit between year 2 and year 3.
He can't recruit. I mean, the one thing you heard about him at Notre Dame was, he doesn't recruit well because of their academic standards. Marcus Freeman's doing just fine.
Marcus Freeman, didn't he land like 3 or 4 5-stars in the last like month and a half?
Yeah, like 83% of the recruiting class is 4 or 5 stars,
which is insane. I mean, like everyone's looking at Amari Cristobal like a fucking wizard because he nailed nothing but 4 and 5 stars in the past like 6 weeks, and everyone's like,
yeah. I mean, but I think Brian Kelly's going to go maybe 500 in SEC play this year, and then they're going to start 0-2 next year, and they're going to fire him. They're going to go. No, I made this joke on Tailgate the Quad because we talked about some of the stuff we had missed, and we talked about Brian Kelly grinding on recruits, but I think LSU hired him partially because they were sick of just the turmoil around their program. You have the Les Miles days where players could do whatever they wanted. He was allegedly stalking students. Ed Orgeron won a national championship, divorced his wife, was hanging out with co-eds, and then stopped winning. And then they're like, well, we need a guy who's going to come in. He's going to be an upstanding guy. He's not going to do anything he shouldn't be doing. He's going to be focused on football. So they brought in a guy who allegedly killed a student.
I love those references on Craft Brew, by the way, because they make one at least once a week.
Yeah, I initially just said killed a student, then I had to throw in allegedly. So
allegedly. It's just with LSU. What's so funny with me, like the Marcus Freeman feels like a slam dunk, and it's going to make Notre Dame, I think, a little more relevant. It's going to make them actually like a legitimate fighting team again, and not have to rely on their name brand to get into the college football playoff every year. But, excuse me, one of the biggest things I look at when I look at LSU now is like the SEC is now like it's Alabama, Georgia, then Florida, and then 60 feet of shit is everything else.
No. Beamer's doing a really good job with South Carolina. I think they're on the upswing. Kentucky
You
had
think
10
Arkansas-
wins
you think
last year.
You think Arkansas keeps it going, or do you think
I think Arkansas can keep it going. I think Sam Pittman's a good coach. A&M is going to be good. They're going to go like 8-4 this year. All their guys are going to transfer.
I cannot wait for week 3. Miami A&M. I know we're going to either get. It's going to be okay. So I know you guys think we're going to get shithoused by them, but I think Miami's got a score to sell with Jimbo, and nothing will make us happier than knocking him off with his SEC school.
Yeah, I also think Ole Miss is going to be good still.
I do think that though.
Who'd they just get? They didn't just get Keon Slovis, did they?
They did get Slovis.
They did. Okay, it was Slovis.
I thought it was Slovis. I mean, I'll check right now, but I swear they got because I remember hearing that name the other day about it. Oh, by the way, breaking news: Mets fear DeGrom is going to opt out of 2023 and chest free agency. Like this is his last year's Met.
I'm surprised he's been a Met this long. I would get away from that medical staff.
They've had control over him this long.
He's only been in the league for like 8 years.
Yeah, no, he got drafted. I think he was 18.
Jesus,
Kevin, I think he's my age.
Baseball contracts are stupid.
Baseball. By the way, baseball unions are fucking idiots. By the way, Tony Clark, I never want to hit a union rep in the head more than Tony Clark.
Also, yes, they probably have control over him. They've probably had control over him this entire time. But also, he's 34.
Oh, I thought DeGrom was much younger.
No.
Jeez, I thought he was like 29 because he looks so young without like the long hair and shit.
Yeah, no, he was drafted in 2010.
Out of college, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's right. He debuted. I was a freshman in college when he debuted.
Yeah, he went unselected out of high school and he enrolled at Stetson. But also I think Mississippi State is still dangerous with the air raid. I think teams are starting to figure out, more teams are starting to use the air raid, so I think they're less dangerous.
So let me reverse that. You still have like the Alabama, Georgia, Florida, an inch of shit, and then it's like 5 or 6 good teams, and then it's the Vanderbilt.
No, still wrong.
I don't get the SEC. I just watch.
It's Alabama and Georgia. They're pretty close still, I think. Going into the year, it might be wrong if the defense can't replace what they lost. Then it's a little bit of gap. It's Kentucky, Ole Miss.
They have Will Levis, so yeah, I gotta watch more tape on him because he's gonna be drafted this year. I gotta know who the fuck this guy is.
Then it's a little bit more gap. Florida, a little bit. Alabama, Georgia, and then I think A&M's still in that tier 2 right now. Right now. A&M, Ole Miss, Kentucky, a little bit of a gap. Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, maybe Auburn, LSU. And then you go a little bit more Missouri, go a little bit more Vanderbilt.
Missouri, talk about a team who regretted leaving their conference. Missouri dominated the Big 12, or at least was like a top 5 team every year in the Big
12 championship their first year in the SEC.
Yeah, but then they haven't made it since.
Yeah, but they probably weren't going to be dominating the Big 12 right now.
I'd say they'd probably be a top 5 team.
I think they
Texas, Oklahoma, and Iowa State. That's all I can think of above them. Oklahoma State, maybe.
What?
Texas, Oklahoma
Texas
State.
is not above them. Would not be above them. They'd be on the same tier. Texas just went 5-7.
True.
Oklahoma State, Baylor, they'd be above them.
Yeah, Baylor.
Comfortably, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma going into the year might not be with all the turnover they've had.
Let me like take up on that. What do you think the fuck's gonna happen in the Big 12 this year then? I know you got your previews. You don't have to reveal everything, obviously, but
I think Oklahoma State and Baylor are probably just gonna play again for the Big 12.
That'd be a fun ass fucking title game, by the way.
We literally just had that.
I know it's gonna be fun again because last year was amazing. I loved it. I won money.
Yeah. And then for who else? I think TCU is also a little bit below.
They have a really high ranked wide receiver this year too. I can't remember the kid's name right now.
Yeah, who's throwing them the ball?
I mean, it could be a fucking jugs machine. The kid apparently, I watched his tape. He's fucking nasty. He's definitely not like where Jalen Reagor was our only option, so they just threw him the ball 1,000 times. I think this kid actually has some pro prospects. All right, you ready to talk a little dartboard?
I have to think of who I have, but
I'll go first for once. Because I never go first. All right. First off, if we're talking dartboard, last week I took USC and UCLA for fucking up the whole landscape of college football, destroying the Big 12, Pac-12, whatever. This week, I'm gonna go with MLB All-Star voters. Every year, there's a lot of good players who get screwed. This year, it's Canada who's declaring war on all-star voters because every Blue Jay known to man who's got any talent is near the top 2 or leading all-star voting in the East. Usually, we rely on the Giants to do that out West, and it's kind of fucked up. I just all-star voting is a joke to me. It should be voted on by the players and the writers and managers. Fans should have a percentage of the vote to me, honestly. But shout out to Corbin Carroll for the Diamondbacks farm system for getting a start in the futures game. So shout out to Corbin. 16 dingers already this year. Proud of you, bro.
Bruins ownership and Cam Neely.
Okay.
You didn't have a roster to win a Stanley Cup this year. They had a good roster. They had a rookie goalie in who played well. I like Swayman, don't get me wrong, but he played well, but he's a rookie. You have an aging Bergeron. You have an aging Marchand. Defense was okay at times. Depth was questionable after you get past the second line. So what do you do when you make the playoffs and lose to the Hurricanes? You fire your coach, who's made the playoffs every year he's been there. And what do you do to the man who did fire your coach after not giving him a contract? You extended the GM. This team is going nowhere, and it's infuriating. They're not going to win a cup with this current regime and the way the roster is currently made up.
Sucks. I mean, shout out to my Pens for re-signing Marty Letang for a 6-year deal. There we go. Keep Marty in the building. Let's go get one of these motherfucking Bruins who got let go. Let's go.
Isn't it
Let's
Chris
go
Letang?
No, it's Martin Letang. I thought it was Martin Letang. I just know it was Letang because my uncle used to have a jersey of him.
It's Chris Letang.
Jesus Christ, I am losing it.
Christopher Joseph Pierre Irwin Letang. There's literally not an M in his name.
Okay, I fucked that up. With that being said,
also not a lot of Bruins got let go.
Aren't you guys losing Pasta or Pasti?
No.
Whatever his fucking name is.
No.
I don't know. I gotta stop listening to McAfee, man. He's the most biased Penguins fan I've ever heard in my life. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
The Penguins might not even re-sign. Oh fuck, what's his name? Other
Malkin?
Russian.
Malkin,
Yeah, Malkin. They might not re-sign him
which would break my heart because I've grown up watching that motherfucker.
because they're offering him like a 2-year deal, and he's like, no.
Hockey be that way. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you stopping by the Corner Booth podcast. Obviously, in the Corner Booth pregame, it's a kind of a crossover episode because I'm going to just upload this audio to at least put something in our fucking content feed. Matt will be back Tuesday, so will I. I will be adjusting my work schedule, and we will not have to deal with craziness with my family, everything else, whatever. We will show on shout out for Scotty Kaiser from the Craft Brew Pod for coming through. Shout out to Mike for at least making the effort. Unfortunately, he could not get away from his husband duties. And shout out to my man, of course, Big Kev, for coming through, basically guest hosting with me tonight. And looking like a certified porn star director. Gotta love it. Appreciate you for stopping by. You can check Kevin's podcast out at Quad Tailgate. New episode just dropped today. It's a Big Ten preview. You can also follow him at Belly Up Kev. It also, the name is McCorkle Stand account because, he loves Mac Jones. And, you can follow me at Belly Up Jared. We appreciate you stopping by. Have a safe weekend, and we'll catch y'all on Tuesday. Peace!